Hi everyone, welcome to World of Tanks with stewiejp. I'm Stewie and this is a triple shot of T54 action, the tier 9 Russian medium tank. All three of these replays been sent to me by my good mate TxTheBest from EMPYR clan, and he's platooning with a couple of his mates from Agila clan, Lone Dog and Monk 28. They're all driving T54s, and in this first replay they're lucky enough to be top tier. Let's see what they can do in these three games. And now, without giving too much away, don't blink because you might miss a hell of a lot of action. Looking at the lineups of the two teams, both teams have a good amount of mediums, a good amount of heavies, only a couple of TDs, and of course lights and medium tanks. Enemy artillery gets spotted and destroyed straight away, giving TxTheBest his first kill, and he's putting that good Russian gun to work. You can see 320 alpha damage and 201 penetration for the standard rounds, 330 penetration for premium rounds. Now, you wouldn't think in this matchup that you would need any premium rounds being top tier, and looking at that tier 7 tank destroyer, he's going to put a bit of pain into the T25 too. Easily bounces the shot from the tier 7 gun and then takes him out of the game, bringing the score up 2-1. Of course, this is an assault battle, so the time limit is only 10 minutes, and TxTheBest and his platoon mates under no obligation to push because they're defending the green flag. Gets a shot into the T54 mod 1, which sends him scampering. Fires clutch at the tortoise, doesn't quite land it, but he's already picked up 1118 hit points of damage, as well as a little bit of block damage. So he's not having a bad start. 5-zip is the score, and at this point of the game, TxTheBest will be thinking this looks like it's in the bag, but it's time to maximise the damage. Just takes a shot from his platoon mate there, puts another shot into that T34, and that T34 will be regretting going to that part of the map as the Lone Dog picks up the kill, and then it looks like they're going to start focus firing on the Centurion 1, the tier 8 British medium tank. They're bullying hard, they're pushing, working together as a team, all three of them running around together. They've picked up 5 of the 7 kills so far between them in this battle. That IS-6 is facing the wrong way, so TxTheBest and his mates are just going to get up behind him and put a bit of pain into him. But T34-3 tracks him and sets him on fire with that shot, which is the right thing to do, leaving him immobile. Looks like that T343 might be firing high explosive there. He only took 5 hit points of damage before picking up the kill. 6 kills between Lone Dog and TxTheBest out of the 8 that have been done, and that makes kill number 7 out of the 9. 5 kills for TxTheBest. Can he get himself a top gun? 9-2 is the score. Does take a shot from looks like the T10, but he's done over 4,100 hit points of damage, and now it's just time to farm damage on the tier 9 British tank destroyer, the Tortoise. Now they've got 8 kills between them. Monk 28 gets taken out in that little skirmish, unfortunately, and now TxTheBest looking for a shot on the T10. Looks like he critical hit him that time. He might have tracked him, but with the score on 11-4, he's got to be pretty happy with that. He bounces the shot from with the strong Russian turret. Doesn't do any damage in that shot, but he's looking like he's having a pretty good game. Looking to get the kill shot on the T54E1, hoping for the top gun, but the AMX AC48 does the job for him. Now he's got to be wary of this T10. The T10 is on pretty high health, but now it looks like it's just everyone's just looking for more damage there. Gets another shot into him. Can he get the kill shot for the top gun? The traffic is unbelievable, and he does. Picks up his 6th kill with the score on 14-4, and now it's just a case of mopping up that last Tiger 2, who looks like he's not AFK, but he was back at the base. I don't know what he was thinking of doing back there, but all in all, a pretty comfortable win by TxTheBest and his platoon mates, 15-4. As we have a very quick look at the post-game battle results, you can see he's picked himself up an Ace Tanker Mastery Badge for that battle on Siegfried Line. Bruiser, Duelist, Fire for Effect, High Caliber for doing at least 20% of the total hit point damage onto the enemy team, and of course the Top Gun for getting those 6 valuable kills. Having a look over on the right hand side, look at all those tanks that he damaged. He had an absolute ripper. And between Lone Dog and TxTheBest, they did over 10,000 hit points of damage. And that was enough for an Ace Tanker Mastery Badge. You also got 1215 spotting damage, and Lone Dog got 1854 spotting damage. So I'm tipping they both got an Ace Tanker out of that replay. Made a little bit of credits in that 4-minute game, and that's with a standard account, because he didn't need to fire any premium rounds. It was all in all a pretty good result for TxTheBest and his platoon mates as we move on to game number 2 out of this triple shot of T54 action. This time TxTheBest, he's on his own. It's a normal battle and he's on Westfield, and it looks like he's going to go up to where the medium tanks normally go on this map. And again, lucky enough to be top tier. And looking at the lineup again, only 2 tier 9 tanks on each side, and TxTheBest will be licking his lips looking at what the enemy side have to offer. Their top tier is a T54 as well as a Type 4 heavy. You'd be comfortable thinking that he's not going to come up against the Japanese heavy tank on this side of the map, but you never know in World of Tanks. Taking a little bit of time to get up to the hill. Of course, it's an uphill drive for both sides on the eastern flank, and he's not going to stop here for sniping shots, or is he? No, he's going to go straight to where all the action happens, where those bulldogs are. That bulldog on the AMX 1390 providing some good vision, by getting there early, they're letting TxTheBest know that it's safe to get there, and obviously it encourages the team to move forward. As TxTheBest looks for a shot on the Tier 7 Comet, the British medium tank. Looks like it's already taken a couple of shots, and he's not stuffing around. He can see the mini-map. You can see where all those big, heavily armoured enemy tanks are, and they're all on the other side of the map. So TxTheBest not wasting any time, getting stuck right into this eastern side, and he wants to clean up whatever lightly armoured tanks might be in this area, and then push on. Fires clutch and lands a shot onto the Leo. It's a tank I've been grinding of late. The new Swedish tank gets another shot into him, takes him down below half health, and it looks like the Skoda is going to mop him up. They're down 3 tanks to 0 here, and that's mainly because so many of the enemy tanks push right into that central part of the map. Little bit of traffic in where TxTheBest is with that Skoda, but they're slowly pulling it back. They're 2-4, and he picks up his first kill, making it back to 3-4, so it's slowly making the scoreboard look a little bit more respectable. Shoots and tracks the Jag Tiger 8.8, the premium German tank destroyer, and the teammates doing their bit, cleaning up some of the more lightly armoured tanks. They're winning now 6-4 with a pretty quick turnaround. Again, fires clutch at the Jag Tiger and it lands. That's that Russian accuracy for you. But now on full health, TxTheBest, it's only done 1100 damage so far, but he's about to start kicking a bit of Russian ass. He's moved, not wasting any time, moving straight across the map into this town to try and support those heavies on the northwestern flank. Those heavies on the northwestern flank are vastly outnumbered. Looks like there's at least 5 enemy tanks there, and look, there might be somebody else sitting back sniping up around A7 as well. So TxTheBest looking for the opportunity to support his heavy tanks, but first he's going to have to get rid of this pesky Super Pershing, and he's just bullying the American premium medium tank, and didn't take any damage at all in that little skirmish, but he certainly dished some out. Fires another shot clutch towards that T49. It doesn't land, but now he's going to start moving in to try and flank these enemy heavy tanks, and there are still a lot of them. There's only one IS-3 on TxTheBest's side up on that northwestern flank, being supported of course by the M41 Bulldog, but can't really rely on a Tier 7 light tank to carry this one too hard, and in fact he gets sent back to the garage pretty much straight away. Looking at the minimap, you can see the light tanks going after the enemy artillery, so TxTheBest will know that he's probably not in any danger of getting hit, and there it goes. It's only a Tier 7 arty, but any arty's bad arty if it's aiming at you. Another shot fired clutch which lands and doesn't do damage. Onto the Tier 7 IS, the big Russian heavy tank, and with a score of 9-8, TxTheBest. He wants to make sure these enemy tanks don't come back for the reset, and he also obviously wants to get as much damage as he can. He's already done 2,683 hit points of damage, 2,134 spotting, and a little bit Finally gets rid of that IS. And now looks like he's focusing on the enemy T54. Very good position to be in this part of the game. His team is up by 2 tanks, and looks like the T49 is going back for the reset, which will probably slow down the cap counter. But TxTheBest in the good position of being on full health, so he can brawl a little bit with these enemy tanks if he needs to. Looks like the Type 4 Heavy wasn't aiming at him. He certainly is now. Shoots and tracks him. He does take 2 damaging shots there from the Type 4 and the IS, but the Type 4 is a one-shot as long as he can penetrate his armour. Auto aims, unlucky enough to bounce him. Bounces a shot from the IS, which is pretty handy. That would have taken him down to not too much health at all. Finally gets rid of that Type 4 Heavy, and now he needs to get rid of the IS, which he does. And now looking at the minimap again, the IS-3 and the T54 on the enemy side are all going back for the resets, which is the right thing to do. It looks like they've put a couple of resets in. TxTheBest has picked himself up 4 kills, 3,667 hit points of damage, a heap of spotting, and a little bit of block damage as well. As the Ike tank, the 90B, gets destroyed. So 90B is the new Tier 7 Swedish tank destroyer, and that's another line I've been grinding down. But looking at those 2 remaining tanks, the IS-3 looks like a one-shot for TxTheBest, and that T54 has just been taken down, and looks like he's not far off being a one-shot as well. TxTheBest picks up the kill on the IS-3, but not lucky enough to get the top gun on that occasion. But in the end, a pretty good result, 15-10, as we have another look at the post-game battle results before picking up our last game in this triple shot of T54 action featuring TxTheBest from EMPYR clan. That time it was another race tanker mastery badge spotter for doing all that spotting he did. Bruiser, duelist, fighter, fire for effect, and of course the high caliber, which a high caliber you generally get whenever you get an ace tanker, because he did an absolute shitload of damage in that game. 3,931 hit points of damage, 5 kills, 1383 base experience. He fired 27 shots. A lot of those shots weren't fully aimed, and only 6 shots missed, so you can't complain about that. 21 hit, 14 did damage, so there was a few shots that bounced, but some of them weren't aimed, as I said earlier. 2,509 spotting damage, and that certainly would have contributed to the Ace Tanker Mastery Badge. Again, made a little bit of coin, 6,000 credits on a standard account, and again, I don't think he needed to fire too much premium ammunition in that game. As we move on to game number 3, the third and final battle featuring TxTheBest from EMPYR clan, and this time he's on Melanovka, and it's one of those encounter games. This time he's not top tier, so he probably has to be a little bit more conservative than he's been in the last battle. Of course, on the encounter version of the game, there's only one base, and the object is to either cap that base out or destroy all the enemy tanks. But TxTheBest, even though he's not top tier in this lineup, he's getting nice and aggressive, taking a little shortcut through the water to get to this ridge line to light up that AMX 1390, who doesn't seem to be aware that he's about to die. Gets taken out by the grill. And now TxTheBest riding this ridge line. He's keeping that TVP T5051 lit up, which hopefully his teammates can put some damage into him, because it would be very, very risky for him to chase the Czech autoloader. Also another T54 on the enemy side going for him. TX puts a shot into him. Looks like the T54 shot and missed. So TX auto aims, puts another shell into him, so he's taken 600 hit points off him already, and now it's just a case of hoping that the enemy bounces and some of his teammates shoot him, which they have. One of his teammates has put a shot into the enemy T54, and finally the Leopard kills him. Makes the score 4-1. That aggressive move by TxTheBest, really picking up some spotting damage for himself. You can see he's done 2,701 hit points of spotting damage, as well as his 1,214 damage he's done himself, and that will contribute greatly to his score. Looks like the main part of the battle seems to be happening up on the hill, going by the amount of tanks up there. Most of his teammates are up on that hill in the northeastern part of the minimap, and it looks like the enemy tanks are pretty much outnumbered up there, so TxTheBest is just going to try and support that flank from down here, and obviously keep these other tanks, these tanks here, the grill and it looks like T11OE3 is the other tank there. It looks like there's a heavy tank there as well. Anyway, 6-1 is the score. 1,500 hit points of 1,500 hit points of damage, 3,240 spotting damage. So it's not always just about the damage you do. And a little bit of banter going on in the chat, talking about spotting damage with the LTTB, who the LTTB looks like he's doing a pretty good job keeping those heavy tanks lit, but some of the damage getting done to those enemy heavy tanks. The heavy tanks that are shooting the enemy heavy tanks would probably be able to see them for themselves, which means that double TB would not get the spotting damage, if that makes sense. I think it does. Anyway, 8-5 is the score. 1,503.2k spotting damage. Finally gets a shot onto the grill. He's had a couple of shots at the tier 10 German tank destroyer. Of course, it's not very well armoured, but it does have that big high alpha gun. So TxTheBest giving him the respect he deserves. That grill could almost take him out of the game, I'd say, if he lands a shot on the tier 9 Russian medium tank. Now, even though it looks like TxTheBest's side had the advantage on the hill, it doesn't look like they do now. It's just the Scorpion G and the T54 at tier 8 up there now, along with the Centurion 1 and the LTTB, also tier 8 and tier 7 respectively. So those tier 10 enemy tanks that are up there, the E3, the E100, really probably you'd think they would have the goods on those tier 8 and 9 medium tanks that are up there. $11-7's the score. 1,879 hit points of damage, 4.4k spotting. That's absolutely massive for the T54 Russian tier 9 medium tank, as he's looking for some cheap shots into the AMX M449 Liberté tank. I've got this tank. It is a ripper, but it does struggle against higher tiers, as you would expect a tier 8 heavy tank to do. Now, that pesky TVP has been dispatched with, and the remaining enemy tanks looks like they're all on the hill. So TxTheBest just pumping away at these tanks. This should be the kill shot on the AMX. Doesn't penetrate, but it looks like he tracked him. 11-9's the score. He's had an absolute ripper of a game, and now it looks like he's just going to change angles, try and get a different angle on that French premium tank, and then I'm tipping he'll probably go up there to try and get a little bit more damage. T44-100 doing the right thing here, sticking his toe on the cap circle just to put a little bit of pressure on the enemy side. I mean, they're all a long way from the cap. Be careful. There you go. There goes the AMX Liberté. 12-9 is the score, and that T44. Not sure how much health he's on, but just by doing that, that's going to be putting a little bit of pressure on those enemy tanks that are up on the hill. Of course, that E3 and the E100 are pretty hard to penetrate. And look at that, the E100's on full health, so that's going to take a lot to kill him. And I think one person capping is probably enough. T44-100, 2.5 minutes to go before the cap timer goes off. I doubt these enemy tanks could come down in 2.5 minutes. Of course, that low, you'd imagine they'd be able to dispatch that low reasonably easily, and that's what TxTheBest is coming up to try and do. Takes a damaging shot from the tier 8 premium German heavy tank, and he's left on 1 hit point. Better than not being left on 1 hit point, I guess, but looks like the E3 is going for a different angle on that T44-100, or maybe even the grill, but the Leopard's going to try and take care of him as TxTheBest goes for a different angle around these heavy tanks on the hill. Less than 2 minutes to go until that T44-100 caps out. I'm tipping he hasn't been lit, because if he had, that E3 would certainly be sending him back to the garage in one foul swoop. Still can't see what health the T44-100's on, but it looks like somebody's just put a big whack into the E3, possibly the grill. And now TxTheBest coming up to get a different angle on these heavy tanks. E100 still on nearly full health, 2240 out of his 2700 hit points remaining. The big tier 10 German heavy tank, but TxTheBest is going to try and chip away at his health. Doesn't penetrate that one. He did get under a little bit of cover. The E100, a minute to go on the cap timer, thanks to that T54 100. And the T44 100 moving around a little bit now. I don't know if he's been spotted. I find it very hard to believe if he was spotted. And now it's just the E100 remaining. 3,168 hit points of damage, 4,435 hit points of spotting damage. And that E100 surely would be looking at TxTheBest seeking this bloke's only on a one shot. And that's what he's doing. But he only tracks him. And TxTheBest puts a shot into the side of his turret. He does have premium ammunition loaded now. That was pretty badly aimed, that one. Don't ram him. Don't. Oh, he does. Why did he do that? Why? Pretty good game though. He obviously laughing. There's only 15 seconds left on the cap timer. There's no way in the world that E100 is going to go back and reset. Even it, and wouldn't even be able to see him. The grill going up. The grill takes a shot from the E100. Takes the E100 down to 187 hit points. And in the end it's capped out. Unless the Centurion can get the E100. No, he can't. The Leopard does the job. All killed and capped. All in the one game. Not too bad at all. And that was Melanovka, the encounter battle featuring TxTheBest. He picked himself up an Ace Tanker Mastery badge. Spotter for doing all that spotting that I was talking about earlier. Bruiser, fire for effect. And didn't have a bad game at all. Topped the score charts with all that spotting and damage. He actually did fourth top damage, which isn't too bad in a tier 10 game. 1,405 base experience, and look at all that spotting. 4,435 spotting damage. He blocked 1,670. A lot of it would have been that last shell from the E100, and of course he did 3,500 hit points of damage himself. Lost a few credits though, because he did have to fire some premium ammunition, especially towards the E100, but all in all, three pretty groovy games from TxTheBest from EMPYR Clan. A triple play of T54, T9 Russian medium tank ace tanker action. Thanks for watching, everyone. Thanks for the replay. TX, take care, and see you all next time.